I want to talk about one game in particular, which is the only game I listened to. Before I do that, though, the Cowboys and Lions, Nate. The Lions, absolute. And I know you probably smiled watching that whole game. 47-9, the Cowboys lost, which
Yes,
is the largest
the worst.
deficit
I think it was since 1988, or was it
since Jerry
1998?
Jones bought the Cowboys. And
1988.
I think, was it 88 or 87?
It was 88.
It was bad. I didn't get to watch it.
But
But
it really was bad. Then, but if we can, Aiden Hutchinson, we got to send some
oh
prayers up.
yes,
That was a gruesome injury, so we're praying for a speedy recovery. But
6 to 8 months. He's out.
again, seeing that the Lions went out there and they competed. Jared Goff had a phenomenal game. They ate. That offense ate. Dan Campbell is just really doing a tremendous job being a leader and just really guiding these men. You can tell that he's just emotionally, committed to the team and just the success of the team. And just again to see Jared Goff and those guys, rally around each other after Aiden Hutchinson went down. That's what it's all about. And I just like the Cowboys. So when the Cowboys they got drummed, in the words of MJ, they got yeah, yeah,
Smack it, flip it, rub it down.
yeah, smack it up, flip it, rub it down. There you go. Um, but it's just it was a good showing. And, every week in football, whether it's collegiately or professionally, it's a great week. I mean, you have to enjoy the moment, the opportunities, the competition on the field. Guys are putting themselves and putting it out there and just showing their love and devotion to the game and how they play and going out there, and that's one of the things you can't do. You can never take a down for granted. You got to just be solely committed to just, again, making it the best play because you never know if that might be your last play. So it was just, again, it was just really, really good to go out there and see those guys competing at a high level. And I just enjoy it.
I will go out there and say, and we've talked about this before, that the Lions have the most efficient offense in the NFL. They are so fun to watch because they cover every aspect of offense.
Right.
It's so fun to watch.
I think, and one of the things that gets overlooked with the Lions, we love the skill position players with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson J-Mo and Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But one of the things that get overlooked, they have the best offensive line in all of football. The Lions have the best offensive line in all of football. And I don't think that they're getting their flowers or getting the recognition that they deserve. And it's just amazing how these guys are opening up holes for the running game and blocking for Jared Goff. He's staying upright majority of the game, and he's comfortable in the pocket.
I mean, you got a running game like the Lions have. They just gave David Montgomery a 2-year, almost $20 million extension. You going to be comfortable in that pocket. You don't have one running back that can run the ball. You got 2 running backs that can run the ball. So when you got all that pressure off your shoulders, because you don't have to cover a running game as a quarterback, you can just sit there in the pocket and just throw dimes.
Yeah.
Sit there and throw dimes. But Nate, let's talk about another quarterback that was throwing dimes this past Sunday. So the Saints ended up, Derek Carr's injured, had to have a rookie step up. 5th round pick of the 2024 NFL draft, Spencer Rattler, had his first NFL start with a 51-27 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was listening to it. The first quarter happened. I was listening to it. I was like, oh, it's 17-0. Might as well turn it off. But I told myself, I'm just going to keep listening to it. Ended up coming up 20-17, 27-17, 27-24. Half ends. We're up 3 points. I'm like, okay. 27 points in a quarter of football, Nate, is the second most points the Saints have ever scored in their franchise in a quarter. 27 points. And you're thinking, if they can score 27 points in one quarter, what are they going to do the next half of football? Well, I turned it off. I stopped at the old Buc-ee's and turned it off because I was ready to eat something and I had to get gas and I wanted me a nice little frozen Dr. Pepper. And I ended up looking at the game. And it is almost 51-27. And I'm like, I turn it off 1 second. And this happens. Baker throws 3 picks. And then he throws 4 touchdowns. But Spencer Rattler, he goes for 22 to 40, 55% completion percentage, 243 yards passing, a touchdown and 2 picks. It looked, he looked good for the circumstances, but it was sad to see that happen, Nate. It was sad to see it happen.
But these are what we like to call learning moments for a young quarterback, young player in general. Learning moments, and it's a great experience for him. There were some times where he looked good in the pocket, and you can be excited for. Again, he has a lot of potential. And just for him to continue to grow and get the experience right here, And one of the things I liked was that the offensive coordinator was calling plays to get him in the rhythm early, making the throws easy for him and so forth and whatnot. And that's one of the things you got to, with a young quarterback, it's all about getting into that rhythm early, because you never know, butterflies is going, you got the jitters starting your first NFL game. It's not college no more. It's a different scenario and scheme, so you want to make those first couple of throws, those first couple of drives. You want him to be comfortable. You want him to get relaxed in the pocket and whatnot. Let the game slowly come to him, not have him looking like a deer in the headlights.
I was so scared Jake Haener would be the Saints starting quarterback going into this week, and that we weren't going to start Spencer Rattler until they named him the starter, and then this happened. You come down from a 17-0 deficit with the rookie quarterback. That's got to mean something. And although the Tampa Bay went up the second half, and nothing really happened the second half for the rookie quarterback, you got to shine some light on the positives. Derek Carr's hurt. You have a second-year quarterback in Jake Haener, second or third year, and you're thinking, okay, well, why is he not starting? Because Spencer Rattler is just that guy. He's that guy. And we saw it this past weekend, or I didn't see it. I listened to it. But it's the O-line, Trevor Penning and Tyler Fiaga got rated both highest top 5 grades of the NFL, of the Saints game, this past weekend. I don't necessarily want to say it was an offensive line issue based on that, but then again, I can't really speak much of it because I didn't see it. All I saw were the stats and listened to it and saw what happened. A couple sacks happened, a couple picks happened that I didn't really get to see. But let's compare him to the first starts of who we're saying are contenders for the Offensive Rookie of the Year prize. So if you look back, week 1, the Bears played the Titans, and Caleb Williams went 14 for 29 with a 48.3% completion percentage, 93 yards passing, and no touchdowns. And then Jaden Daniels, 17 for 24, 70.8% completion, 184 yards, and no touchdowns. So you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, well, if the people that can, although they didn't throw any picks, they didn't have any interceptions, if the people that we are saying are in contention for the Offensive Rookie of the Year award do this, probably one performed poorly and one performed mediocre in their first start, and Spencer Rattler performed a little bit better than those two, what kind of conclusions can we make from this comparison, Nate?
You know what? It's what we got to also understand is that this is a week-to-week thing. One week you may play really, really well, and next week you might drop a dud. Consistency is the most important factor, but again, it's kind of hard, So to see, one of the things I've been completely impressed with is Jaden Daniels, and one of the things you were his biggest fan, and you were spot on with everything you said about this guy. skill set. He's looking pro ready. He was pro ready in college, but there were a lot of things that were, I guess you could say, factors why people, again, doubted him and so forth and whatnot, saying that his game wouldn't translate in the NFL. But you were spot on with everything you said, Colin. And you look at how he's playing. I mean, Caleb Williams, he's had a couple of decent weeks. He really had a good week last week. This past week against the Titans, if I'm not mistaken.
They played the Jaguars in London.
The Jaguars, excuse me. But Jaden Daniels since week one has been amazing, and I love the fact that again, he's letting the game come to him. I love that Cliff Kingsbury is utilizing his strengths and implementing that into the offense and calling plays to really that suit him and his skill set. But I got to give you your flowers. That you were spot on, and that was a hell of a assessment on Jaden Daniels.
I appreciate it, Nate. It's just when you see somebody in person, you get it against your team, you get almost a different perspective of the guy. When I see Jaden Daniels, although Mississippi State didn't have like an amazing top-tier defense last year, when I see him perform the way he did against State, putting up 41 points, I think it was 41-14, something like that, against State's defense. When they had the SEC Defensive Player of the Year on their team, you start to make conclusions. You look at the way he played against other top contenders like Bama or Ole Miss, or I don't know if they played Georgia last year, and then you see how well he performed against those teams who were arguably the closest to NFL defenses we can get in college. And when you see the way he performs against top competition, you have to say to yourself, is this the way he's going to perform in the NFL? And if you can watch the way he plays and reads the defense and knows how to make a decision and doesn't hold the ball too long, the answer can be a little closer than yes than no. But when I look at when I saw Caleb Williams in college, and I see that he's never beaten a competitive team ever, he's never beaten a top 10 team in college, although he had a really good week this past week. I'm not going to take that away from him. It's getting there. It's a slow start. It's a slower start. He had a better situation going into the season than Jaden Daniels.
Yes, he did.
I mean, now we're looking at maybe Jaden Daniels has a better situation in Washington.
Well, you know what? Let me go back. I thought Jaden Daniels had the better situation due to the fact that he had Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator, and we saw what Cliff Kingsbury did with Kyler Murray. Just that skill set, using Kyler's skill set, calling the plays. I mean, we got a call. I thought Jaden Daniels was in a better situation, to be honest with you.
And when they hired Cliff Kingsbury, the exact words I use and the exact words we used Thursday when they were talking about it is that it was a perfect marriage, a perfect, happy marriage. Because when you bring somebody like Cliff Kingsbury in, who we know can pretty much perform as a coach in the NFL level, but really perform in college, and you're bringing in somebody that is closer to college than he is his NFL career, it speaks volumes, because you have somebody that can almost sympathize for the quarterback you're bringing in, and that's not rushing his progression to the NFL. That's what the situation was, and that's the difference. You're right, Nate. That's the difference between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels' situations. They're trying to rush Caleb Williams to an NFL spot. Jaden Daniels with Cliff Kingsbury is slowly getting into it. It's perfect. I mean, he's taking pretty much a college offense until it turns into NFL with Jaden Daniels. It's beautiful. It's the way he progresses the quarterback, not only in college, but now we're seeing it in the NFL. People need to start writing it down.
Yeah.
People need to start writing it down, because guess what? He was the second overall pick in the draft. What happens to the 142nd overall pick if you do the exact same with him? Think about Spencer Rattler. It's been a couple weeks. We saw him perform. It's been a couple weeks. I mean, he threw it 40 times. I probably wish there was more of a running game, which there wasn't. Tampa Bay's defense was just a little bit better, but when he throw it 40 times, I really don't want to see him throw it 40 times. I'd rather him throw it like he threw it about 17 times the first half, but that second half, I guess he was just so desperate. They had to throw down the field. They had to catch up because when you have 20 something unanswered points, and then all of a sudden you're getting blown out in the second half, not scoring anything with their 27 unanswered points, you get desperate and then you throw picks. And that's what I think the situation with Spencer Rattler was. We didn't see Williams or Daniels do that in their first NFL start. And Jaden Daniels has thrown the least picks out of just about anybody in the NFL as a starting quarterback. He's only thrown 2 this season.
Yeah.
But Williams looks good. Daniels looks better. And Spencer Rattler's getting there. He's going to have a couple more weeks to kind of shine. We're going to see what happens. And I'm excited
I'm excited to see Spencer Rattler, Drake Maye. Drake Maye was actually Rob's on.
Oh, he was named starter, yeah. You're right. Drake Maye was named starter.
Drake Maye, I'm just excited. Young quarterbacks getting their opportunities, I guess you could say thrown to the wolves. Gotta appreciate it. Again, because now New England, they're committing themselves to the rookie, and it happened a little bit sooner than expected, but again, this is a great time for these young boys, or these young men, to get thrown in there and just get some experience under their belt.
Now, this is my take with Drake Maye situation. I'm gonna be brief with it. I'm just gonna kind of reiterate what I said Thursday if y'all aren't watching. And Rob, stay until the next segment because I got a segment for you in just a second. But regardless, this was my take with the Drake Maye situation. Okay, I think this is almost worst case scenario for the New England Patriots because one, you not only had Drake, you just said it probably sooner than expected. You not only had Drake Maye start sooner than expected, but you almost ruined your decision of either making him sit a season or starting him at the beginning of the season. Because now you have told Drake Maye that Jacoby Brissett is better than him because you started Jacoby Brissett week 1. And now you're expecting him to be better than Jacoby Brissett when you stuck with Jacoby Brissett. Why? Why did you do that? You should have started Drake Maye week 1 if you wanted him to be better than what you had at starting quarterback. Why in the world do you start a rookie quarterback mid-season if, 1, you did not want him to sit the whole season, and 2, you did not want him to start at the beginning of the season? That makes no sense. I feel like, yeah, exactly. Gerard Mayo got it wrong. I feel like he should be on, for this decision, he should be on the hot seat because, in my opinion, he got this wrong. He got this so wrong, Nate. You are telling me you're going to sit here and tell a rookie quarterback who you just ruined almost all of his morale for the season, told him that he is supposed to sit behind this quarterback, this mediocre quarterback who's only thrown for 3,000 yards one time in a season of his career. You're telling him that he has to be better than that, but you don't start him until, week 6. Gerard Mayo got it wrong, Nate.
He got it wrong. And, again, sometimes, some quarterbacks don't want to throw that quarterback in the fire so early, and he's the quote unquote, and so much pressure on him because he's got to replace some big shoes. He's got to replace the greatest that ever played shoes. And we've seen what happened with Mac Jones, and that they screwed him. Coach Belichick, as much as I love and respect him, he ruined a good young quarterback, a good young talent. And I just to give Gerard his, just the benefit of the doubt, I feel that he wanted to spare the young guy the same what Mac Jones had to go through, whatnot. So, did he get it wrong? Yeah, he did. But the only thing he can do now is that, okay, they turn the reins over to Drake Maye. All we can do is just, watch him flourish and watch him, the bumps in the road, and just he has to learn. And he's going to learn. There's going to be some ups and downs, but this is what it's about. He's going to get better and better each week.